Emergency podcast, AJ Puk, baby. The Marlins front office telling us that AJ Puk is going to be a starter this year. I doubted him. A lot of people doubted him. However, AJ Puk, first start for the Marlins. Yes, it was in spring, only 2 innings, but boy, oh boy, AJ Puk looking every bit the starter. What does this mean for the Marlins? Equally, it's time to cut ties, guys. It is time. I am fed up of watching Avisail Garcia. It is time to go. Tristan Gray, though, continues to emerge. He has the hottest stick of the Marlins in spring. Does he make this roster? I think the way this is going, he's going to. Tons to get into, guys, on an emotive Locked On Marlins.
You are Locked On Marlins, your daily podcast on the Miami Marlins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Greetings from England and welcome to Locked On Marlins. It's your daily Marlins pod. I'm your host, Peter Pratt. Hit me up at Miami Marlins_UK. If you're listening to the pod, of course, hit subscribe. This is your team every day, and thanks for making Locked On Marlins your first listen of the day. There is a YouTube channel as well, guys. Make sure you hit subscribe over there too. And join me. Why not join me? And particularly join me in the comments too. Comments is where it's at on YouTube. It's wild out there. Wild, which is great to see. Guys, this episode is sponsored by our good friends over at FanDuel. You can make every moment more. New customers join today and you get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. Guys, we've got a packed schedule today. I am speaking quickly because I want to make sure we get this all in. I'm recording this late into Tuesday, but this episode will be released on Wednesday for your entertainment and your pleasure. So I hope you enjoy it. I'm feeling emotive on a couple of topics here, and I feel like there's going to be some positives, and there's going to be a rant, and there's going to be some positives. It is called, what's that? Is that a rant sandwich? Is that what it's called? I think it is. I'm not sure that's an official term, but nevertheless, we're going with it. Let's start right at the top, and if you're watching, you've got the rundown. AJ Puk, baby. SP Puk is on the rundown, and that stands for starting pitcher Puk. AJ Puk with his first ever start for the Marlins. The Marlins said that they were going to look to transition Puk back into the rotation as a starter for 2024. If you recall, before the Marlins actually traded for him, and reminder, the Marlins sent JJ Bleday to the A's to acquire Puk. The A's had seen a successful stint of Puk in the bullpen, but were planning to transition him back into the rotation as they felt that he could handle the load, let's say. So the Marlins plumb him into the closer spot, starts great, gets hurt, struggles a little bit at the back end of the year, lost his confidence, I think. I think that was primarily the thing. Lost his confidence, and pitching in high leverage, that puts an extra pressure on you and maybe restricted or limited AJ Puk's ability to pitch loose and the way he wants to and use all of the pitches that are there available in his repertoire. So the Marlins moving Puk back into the rotation. I don't really it's fair to say when that was announced, a lot of people were not on board with that, primarily because you kind of think about the downside of what could go wrong. Primarily Puk, he's never started a major league game before. I think Sean Barrett pointed that one out to me maybe on last week's episode. I didn't even know that. So Puk obviously was drafted and highly touted as a starting pitcher, as a prospect, but he's never started a game at the big league level, which was absolutely crazy. Like, that's a kind of clear difference from like Puk to say Luzardo, right? Where Luzardo had been starting, kind of struggling, and the Marlins were able to, sprinkle the magic dust on Luzardo. But with Puk, he has never started a major league game. So when the Marlins said he's going to move into the rotation, the question was, well, do we need him in the rotation? And are we going to miss him in the bullpen? And where's his best role? And equally, what kind of role will he have as a starter? Like, how stretched out will he get? What's the pitch count going to look like? Can you get 6 innings of AJ Puk? 100 pitches, 6 innings. Like, can you get that? Do you want to get that? Based on the injury history, we saw some of it last year. Like, do we want that? Do we want to press him there? And do we need to do it? it's kind of a few question marks around that one, it's fair to say. I thought that the Marlins were playing games, to be honest with you. I thought this was like hyperbole. This was media hyperbole as they were looking to construct rosters and they didn't want to limit themselves with trade opportunities. And by calling out the Puks moving into rotation, maybe that gives them the ability to move a starter. I don't know. It surprised me, the announcement, and I was nervous about what the outcome could be. However, with all of that preamble, we get our first look at AJ Puk as a starter. Granted, it's a spring training game, and there was, I think, at least one, maybe multiple occasions where he did pitch multiple innings as a reliever. He only pitched 2 innings today, but this is on Tuesday, but this is being released on Wednesday. So yesterday, he only pitched 2 innings. So it wasn't like it was like full go, obviously, for Puk. But with that being said, what we did see, and it was televised, so that was useful. We got to see that as well. What we did see was extremely encouraging. Extremely encouraging. Luzardo looked impressive. Yuri Perez, in many ways, looked impressive. Puk looked as good as both of those guys. And frankly, if not better. If not better, like I'm looking at the way these first 4 games have gone and the starts, Puk, to me, looked the filthiest of all of them. So extremely encouraging. And a couple of things that stand out with Puk here as a starter. The velo looked good. The 2-pitch mix that he kind of used last year was then augmented or supplemented with a changeup that he rarely threw as a reliever. And I think this is the point. Puk knows that he's got that pitch. He's always been a starting pitcher, but for whatever reason has never made it as a starter thus far. But he's always had that pitch. We know the Marlins, they can certainly develop a changeup. And so Puk's out there throwing changeup after changeup. He spoke about it to say he wasn't comfortable throwing that pitch in the highest of leverage spots as a starter where the heat is not on as much. That maybe frees you up both mentally. It frees you up both physically to throw everything. You have to throw everything because you've got to get, multiple outs, not just 3 outs is what you're seeking. So AJ Puk is in his final line, 2 innings, a single walk, 3 Ks, and it was an impressive outing for AJ Puk. Boy, oh boy. The Marlins, if they can get, what would good look like here with AJ Puk? What is it going to be? 120 innings? 100 to 120 innings of AJ Puk? Like, is that going to be good? I think it is. And this is it. So many of these Marlins starters have got innings limits, and Puk will have one too. You've got Luzardo that really has kind of no limitations, pretty much. Braxton Garrett was probably the other one that you'd kind of like maybe depend on, but he's already hurt and he's going to be struggling. So, but everyone else is going to be like managed. They have to manage him. So AJ Puk's going to fall into that bucket, like 120, 100 odd innings for AJ Puk from the left side. That sweeper doing damage, that changeup doing damage, the fastball looking lively at 96, 97. Man, oh man, AJ Puk, baby. Like, this is completely transformed. This could completely transform the Marlins rotation. It really could. Because, you're going to need your depth. But if your third, fourth starter is AJ Puk, that we've never seen start games before. But if it's this AJ Puk, that looks as good as Jesus Luzardo. Granted, it's a spring training game and only a couple of innings worth of work. But he looks the part. This is huge for the Marlins, huge for the rotation, huge for the depth. What are they going to lose in the bullpen? It's going to be a good question. I have to be honest, the spring training guys, the ones that are on this roster bubble here for the bullpen have not been good. Another outing again today for Josh Simpson. A couple of walks and an earned run again. Another putrid outing there for Josh Simpson. We're looking for a clean ball. There's a job to be won. He's basically being told, Josh Simpson, he's going to win a job. And he's had a slow start, it's fair to say. But man, oh man, AJ Puk as a starter, this is super intriguing for the Marlins. And it comes, the byproduct is you have that third pitch, that changeup. If that becomes average, above average, listen, it's the Marlins. It's going to be an above average changeup, coupled with the fastball and the sweeper. If he's healthy, And frankly, with any pitcher, it doesn't matter. You have the same question marks. Can they stay healthy? It's the same for any pitcher. And in the modern game, where they're asked to throw hard, rapidly, and everyone's like trying to increase spin rates and all sorts, injury's so prevalent. And these things will just happen. So you can't protect AJ Puk. You just have to, let him go out there and do his thing. And if he gets hurt, he gets hurt. But that's the same for any pitcher. But boy, oh boy, the Marlins, it's gone from elite closer, which he was starting his career, to, mid-rotation, mid-top part of the rotation type of ceiling here for AJ Puk. Then there's a lot to be excited about with that one. No doubt about it. I want to talk about some decisions that also need to be made and some ties that need to be cut. Enough is enough, guys. Enough is enough, and we're going to talk about that after the first ad. But having watched Avisail Garcia today, enough is enough. We're going to talk about Avi again and why it's time to move on once and for all. But before we do that, this episode is brought to you by good friends over at FanDuel. Guys, you can get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. You can bet on all your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets. You've also got live same-game parlays. That's where the action's at, isn't it? Exclusive props and more. So just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and shoot your shot. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. All right, guys, back here with me, Peter Pratt, on Wednesday, the 28th of Feb. This is recorded immediately after the Marlins have been spanked in their spring training game by the Mets, 7-1. It was on TV. AJ Puk got the start. He got it rolling. But then as the pitching reduced in quality, thus the Mets started to do some damage, did some damage at the back end of this game. Nevertheless, AJ Puk was a real headline grabber in this one. For me, with that changeup, if it plays and AJ Puk mentally and health-wise is there, then the Marlins, they have a really intriguing rotation option here. Let's transition across to Avisail Garcia. We've talked about Avi a lot in the past couple of seasons, rightly so. Big money signing, big money commitment from Derek Jeter, Kim Ang. I don't know who really, made this decision on Avisail Garcia. But, it was a big investment that the Marlins made. And unfortunately, it just has not worked out overall. With his Marlins career has just been absolutely terrible. I mean, looking at the stats, it's boy, oh boy, it is not good. He's got an OPS plus for his Marlins career of 61. He's hitting 215. He's only in 2 seasons worth of work. He's hit 11 home runs. Frankly, it has been, man, oh man, it has been so poor from Avisail Garcia. The unfortunate thing is we just haven't seen that, with the Tigers, after he left Detroit, he's definitely had a nice career at all his other landing spots. The White Sox, he was pretty good. The Brewers, before the Marlins signed him, was pretty good. The Rays was good too. The Marlins is the clear standout where things have not gone great. He wasn't great as a Tiger either, really, in his career. But Avisail Garcia, it's been a complete disaster, this signing. The Marlins have hung on. Craig Mish was openly talking about Avisail Garcia last year, early part of the season, to say if he doesn't buck it up, he's going to be gone. And the Marlins are going to, they've been actively trying to trade him, moving the money. Listen, Craig, if he's reporting that openly, then that's in line with the thinking that the Marlins have had. They just haven't been able to. They've been hoping that they can move him. They've been hoping that they can trade him and get back another guy they think they can sprinkle some magic dust on. That says to me they believe Avisail Garcia is a lost cause. The Marlins believe that Avisail Garcia is a lost cause. I'm watching Avisail Garcia in this game in the spring where he needs to perform. I'm watching him, and he doesn't look bothered. He's getting caught out by the pitch clock. Pitch clock violations multiple times today. Avisail Garcia looks like a player that doesn't care. He's playing like he doesn't care. He's playing at his own pace. And unfortunately, in the modern game, the ultra-modern game, you can't do that. We saw it last year. There's been no improvement. He signed his deal, ballooned, was terrible, got hurt, came back skinny, changed his stance, too little too late. Started last year, terrible, was on the IL all season, pretty much, when I don't think there was anything wrong with him. I think the Marlins just basically had no use for him, and they just left him on the IL because he'd get paid his money, and you go and be a cheerleader, Avi. We're at that point now where Avisail Garcia is actively, he's a lost cause. I'm going to say that again. He's a lost cause, and the Marlins need to cut ties with Avisail Garcia now. There's no need to wait. Cut Avi. Yes, eating the dough will hurt, but Avisail Garcia right now is taking at-bats away from other guys that need the at-bats that you're going to rely on either for opening day straight away or as the year goes. You're taking at-bats away from guys that are fighting for jobs. Avisail Garcia is not fighting. He's checked out. He's a lost cause. He knows it, and he doesn't care. I don't know that for fact, but that's what he's showing me. That's what this on-field performance in spring in the first it's the first couple of games. But he's telling me, he's told me his whole career in Miami. He turned up fat, lazy, unproductive. He doesn't care. All of these things, he does not care. And I want players representing the Marlins that I want to see them, that they actually care. And if they don't care, they should be gone. And this sounds harsh. And it sounds like a character assassination of Avisail Garcia. And some people listening to this may know Avi and will probably say, well, that's not true. Not about fact. I'm giving my opinion on this. And everything that I'm seeing with Avisail Garcia says the guy does not care. And he wants to be gone as much maybe as the Marlins want him gone. They just can't find a way to move him without just having to cut ties and eat the money. Let's talk about the money. The way baseball works with all this revenue sharing and all this kind of stuff, it isn't even Bruce Sherman's money. It's the Dodgers' money. It's the Yankees' money. Just eat the dough and thank the Dodgers for paying him, because it's nothing to do with Bruce Sherman. He has not paid Avisail Garcia. Most of this major league roster is paid for by other organizations. That's the way baseball works. So cut ties, eat the dough. It is what it is. It's a sunk cost. But Peter Bendix is in here to win. Skip Schumacher's in here to win. His teammates are in here to win. Avisail Garcia is hindering this club. He's hindering other guys getting opportunity, and he should be cut immediately. That's enough. There's no better way than for Avisail Garcia to end his Marlins career than being cut after his final at-bat where he was struck out on a pitch clock violation. It's perfect. That's perfect. I hope we get the news later. Avisail Garcia DFA'd. It's the perfect way to end this disaster of a relationship. And I think the Marlins need to move on now. Let's do the final ad, and then we want to end the negativity and talk about some positivity. And it's time to let you know about our good friends over at Gametime. Yes, sir. This might be relevant for spring training tickets. I don't know, but you shouldn't have to worry when you buy tickets to your next big event. Gametime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. They have killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their best price guarantee. Gametime takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. And that beautiful thing is you can see that view. You can see that view within the ticketing app that gives you that complete peace of mind with your purchase. So you know exactly what to expect before you arrive. They've got all-in prices that show your total upfront cost. So you know you're getting a great deal before you check out. And you can buy tickets with just 2 taps. Tap, tap, boom, baby. You can take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, guys, back here with me, Peter Pratt, on Wednesday, the 28th of Feb. I'm feeling emotive. Thanks for joining me and making Locked On Marlins your first listen, guys. I'm feeling emotive. I'm feeling hyped about what I've seen from AJ Puk. The Marlins front office, they may have got this one right. AJ Puk, to me, looks like a legit starter and a legit three-pitch starter. Boy, oh boy, it's extremely exciting, to be honest with you. He looks like he can get outs, a lot of them by strikeout. Yes, there was a home run issue in certain parts for AJ Puk when he came back. He was giving up bombs. He needs to keep the ball on the ground, down in the zone. Maybe that changeup will help with that. It's time to cut ties with Avisail Garcia. I think that was pretty much a 10-minute rant. It's right up there. Right up there in the history of Pete Pratt, Locked On Marlins rants. Right up there. 10 minutes of a rant about a single dude. I've probably done a full episode on a full rant at some point, but Avisail Garcia deserves it. He's checked out, and I think the Marlins should move on from him now. He's a lost cause. No one's having the money. No one's eating the money. No one wants the player. Look at the market. Look at the market right now. Even good players can't even get jobs. So you're not trading a bad player with a bad contract for anything back. There's just no way. There's no way that's happening. It's a sunk cost. Let's sink it now. Let's give the opportunity to other guys that deserve it and that want it. And let's finish Avisail Garcia's Marlins career with a pitch clock violation. It's perfection. Speaking about Marlins careers, and this one is ascending. Tristan Gray, baby. Tristan Gray right now is having the best offensive spring of any of the Marlins guys. De La Cruz equally is right up there too. But Tristan Gray with his second home run of spring. Reminder, Tristan Gray, he started today at shortstop. He has hit 30-plus home runs in the last two seasons at AAA. He made his debut with the Rays. He's hit a major league home run off the same pitcher that he hit a home run off today. And that was, I believe, old Marlins friend Jorge Lopez. So I believe that, Tristan Gray must like what he's seeing from Jorge Lopez. I mean, man, everyone liked what they saw from Lopez. Nevertheless, but Tristan Gray, reminder as well, he's an NRI. So he's not on the 40-man. He is minor league deal, invite the spring, non-roster guy. But he's fighting for a job. Just because he's an NRI doesn't mean he can't make this opening day. And right now, you're looking at Tristan Gray, considering the Marlins have lost Roy Soler. There's going to be a need for some power. There's going to be a need for some power here. Tristan Gray gives them that. The Marlins have built this roster full of tools, speed, athleticism. Tristan Gray offers something that those guys don't, and that is seemingly home run power. And it's whether it's as a starter, as a platoon guy, I don't know. But right now, Tristan Gray is putting his best foot forward. He's the guy that's really stepping up. And I know there's a lot of talk about the first base job. There's a vacancy there, the backup first baseman. I've got no problem putting Tristan Gray there, or carrying him on this roster. Anyone can play first base, to be honest with you. If you need a backup first baseman, they've already got one. It's Luis Arias. Play another guy at second base. Whoever it might be. We know Birdie's making the roster. I feel like Bruhan is. I feel like Nick Gordon is. I feel like there's a space here for Tristan Gray. You've got to cut Avisail Garcia, but I think that's going to be done. Trey Mancini, I think, had an opportunity, but man, Trey Mancini has had a terrible start here in spring. 0 for 6, 4 Ks. Honestly, from a Marlins perspective, I know it talks about cutting Avisail Garcia. At this point, do you move on from Trey Mancini already? Trey Mancini deserves much more respect than Avisail Garcia at this point, to be honest with you. And if the Marlins like him, they should give him ample opportunity. It's only a couple of at-bats and only a couple of games. I know it feels one way for one player and one for the other, but Avisail Garcia has had ample opportunity with the Marlins, and he's not taking it. Trey Mancini at this point, slow start. For me, with Trey Mancini, Tristan Gray, any of these dudes, and Troy Johnson's in that bucket too. For me, you ride the hot hand. If Tristan Gray is lighting it up in spring, get him on the opening day roster. When he cools off, let's see what Trey Mancini's got. When he cools off, let's see what Troy Johnson's got. Like, if Gray's alive and the stick's alive, then let's roll it into the actual regular season. Let's ride it. Ride it until it dies. Let's see how it goes. But man, oh man, Tristan Gray has rolled in and he has delivered exactly as advertised. You know, the Tim Anderson signing makes things different. We look at this now through a different lens. But man, oh man, how would you be feeling right now if Tristan Gray was doing this and the Marlins had not signed Tim Anderson? You'd be looking at Tristan Gray going, could this be our opening day starter? Could this be our everyday shortstop with a bit of Birdie sprinkled in and a bit of, Edwards and whatever? You would be. It's only because Tim Anderson has landed now that we're we're looking more like, well, who's going to be the depth? Listen, the way Tim Anderson's got to show it as well. I know he signed a 1 year, $5 million, but Tim Anderson has to show it. It's not going to be simply rock in here and Tim Anderson's going to be given 400 at-bats of hitting sub 200 and we'll just, see how it goes. It's not the way. Tim Anderson's got to earn it too. Tristan Gray is out there right now putting his best foot forward, and it is glorious to see. Glorious to see. This could be his big break. It could be his big opportunity. It really could. So for me, I'm extremely impressed with what I've seen. I think we know what we're going to get with Gray. It's that power. The power is there. We know it. Doesn't hit for average. Doesn't take a ton of walks. Strikes out a ton. Like that profile, we've seen it and we've felt it before. The question is does Gray's power translate fully to the major league level? And then, is it 30 home run power at the big league level? If it is, then you can take some of the flaws that exist. You can. There's a serviceable guy, particularly if he's got good defense to go with it, a decent glove. I'm going to call it a day there, guys, because I've said a lot of words in the space of 27 minutes, and I feel like I need to lie down, to be honest with you. But man, oh man, how great is it to have Marlins baseball back? I know it's only spring, but man, the storylines are evolving and building rapidly. Puk's emerging out of nowhere. Some of these bullpen guys that could have been good, that should have had jobs, they're faltering. That's bad news. Avisail Garcia is who he is. He needs to be gone. Trey Mancini deserves more respect, but he's walking a tightrope as well. I want to give the opportunity to the guys like Troy Johnson, Tristan Gray. I want to give them the opportunity and see what they can do with it, for sure. Thanks for making Locked On Marlins your first listen, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with the UK Ghost. Sean Barrett is back in town tomorrow on Thursday. We'll carry on the spring conversations, of course. No rumors right now about the Marlins signing anyone, but who knows? Because there's a lot of talent still available as a free agent. A lot of talent that I think could help the Marlins. The question is do they dip back into the free agent pool as well? We'll wait to see. Jesus Luzardo also named as the opening day starter, so we'll talk about that as well with the UK Goat. Look forward to seeing you then.